Guys, what's going on? Excuse the audio. This is 8 go-rounds of making this video. One mic went down, the other one broke. One time it was on mute. I swear it has been a mess just trying to do this simple video. But anyways, the other day I put out a video of the Braun 1000 lumen weapon light from Harbor Freight. And I got a question. Are the Braun and the Streamlight produced in the same facility? It got me thinking. First I was like, no, there ain't no way. Well, let me look around. So I started doing some reading on Streamlight, and apparently they have their facility in Pennsylvania. They do make some higher quality items there, but they do produce a lot of items overseas, of course, utilizing their designs and their specifications and then having their name put on it. Braun from Harbor Freight, Braun actually does not produce lights. They design them and then they have them produced in China in facilities and then have them marketed under their name. So the question, could they be made in the same facility? And I was like, well, I don't know. Maybe they could be, because the Streamlight and the Braun, you know, just at general glance appear to be very similar, and they do fit in the holster and fit the weapon and things like that. But then I started looking at them really close and I started finding differences in separate components and then the main body of the weapon light. So Braun online, I could not find what facility or facilities in China produce their lights. Apparently companies don't like telling you which companies overseas produce their items for them. Utilized AI and, you know, looking at forums and things like that. Couldn't find it. The same for Streamlight. I did find one company manufacturer in China that stated something about Streamlight, but when I went and looked on their website at their products, I didn't see anything similar to even this older school TLR1S or the HL, which would be the comparison for this. So I was like, maybe they could be made in the same facility, but they're not utilizing the same parts. So let's go to the Braun first. So, well, real quick. Apparently this is a newer go-round of the Braun, or there are several facilities producing it, because pictures I've seen of the first Braun weapon lights, it had Braun written here on the sides, just like how Streamlight has their information, you know, printed on the sides. And the cap came off of the Braun. You were able to unscrew it so you could get to the diode and take the lens out. This is all one piece now. You can't get to the diode or take the cap off. So, back to the Braun. So it's all one solid piece here, but then you come right here to where it mounts on the Picatinny rail. You see you've got a separate piece here, and then on the opposite side, you have another separate piece. On the Streamlight HL, which the TLR1S and the HL is pretty much the identical body, it's just the components on the inside are different. You see the body here is one solid piece where it hooks on the Picatinny rail, and then you have a separate piece. So these bodies are not the same. They're not the same because you only have one movable part for the rail mount on the Streamlight, and on the Braun you have two separate pieces that secure it. So the body is not the same. The Streamlight, the cap screws off so you can get to the diode and remove the cap here. On the Braun, it's all one solid piece. You can't get to that. So there's another design, another difference. The screws, see if you can get it there. The screws are different here that tighten it up on the rail mount. They are also different. And then one thing I really started looking at that kind of caught my attention, I'm going to have to get close for you all. We're going to get close for a minute. The grooves on your finger switch. You can see they're thick spaced, and then down here at the bottom and the top, you see how it's here, and then it kind of just fades off as the switch tapers off right there. On the Streamlight, and this appeared the same from photos I looked at of the HL. And excuse it's dirty because it's been used. You can see the spacing is a little thinner, but the grooves run all the way out to the end. They don't taper down here and kind of fade away like they do on, maybe you can see it there, like they do on the Braun. So, could they be produced in the same facility? Yeah, I guess they could, unless you're really good at digging through stuff online, or you're just company insiders and you know who produces these overseas for you. I don't know. But I do know the bodies are different and separate components are different, all the way down to your finger switch. You know, if I was a company overseas and I was producing these for Streamlight and I was producing these for Braun, yeah, you got to have a tad bit of difference, but smaller components like that, I'd probably use the same thing. They are different. There's also a little bit of difference right here with, see those half moons over the switches? Right here on the Streamlight, how it's kind of thin and short, and on the Braun, maybe about the same size, but it's thicker. So that is different too, and that is, you know, a piece of the separate battery doors. So the battery doors are different. The switches are different. Screws are different. Spin around. Screws are different. And the actual casing body is different because this has a removable cap and this does not. Apparently both, well, the Braun is made in China, and apparently this is too. And that's what AI said. So Streamlight, AI said this is made in China, and several other websites. So they're not the same thing. Maybe they could be made in the same factory, but they are not utilizing the same components. I hope this super fascinating and interesting video has helped some of you all out if you were wondering this. But I hope y'all have a great day. And Minuteman is out.